Hello, everyone. Welcome to Not Enough Spoons for Mondays. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Neva.
And we have our coffees, which this week we did coordinate. Some weeks we don't both have coffee, but this week you have a Bluey mug.
Yeah, so this was in the okay, so at Walmart they have like $5 mugs.
Yes, where most of my mugs are from. So fair.
Yeah, and we went over to look and I always look at the $5 mugs because sometimes there's
Mhm.
ones that match. So Ari and I had a Barbie one that matched, but like the Barbie came off. Like it just said Barbie, but it was like a sticker almost and it like came off.
Mhm.
But we found these and there were two of them. So Ari and I have
Oh,
matching
love it.
Bluey
Oh, I'm
mugs.
obsessed.
We love Bluey in this house.
I mean, fair, but
We
also
love
like
Bluey.
I'm a mug person. Like
Yeah,
I love a good mug. And truly Walmart, like I will spend money on a mug, but like honestly, Walmart for the quality that you get, that's a
5 bucks
good
is
deal. Like
well,
it's
my
not like they're $5 and they're not good quality. Like they're actually decent. Like they
and
go through the fine, like they're good.
I have, um I don't really right now it's being used for bookmarks because it is like a Halloween mug, but, like, I have one that's Sally and Jack, and when you put
Who's
hot
Sally
like,
and Jack?
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, sorry. I didn't
Okay.
my
So
brain did not go there, and I went, "What
hot
show is
liquid
that?"
when you put hot liquid in it, there's, like, like, more of the picture that develops. It's like one of those. I have this one, I have the Barbie one, which honestly, the Barbie one would have been cute even if it didn't say Barbie on it because it's like a metallic, like, pink color. Um, and then Ari and I each have a Gilmore Girls one. It's like I've
Obviously.
used it on sprints before. It's like blue and it just has like different Gilmore Girls things on it. Um, but yeah, I actually really like Walmart's. I mean, if you can get in there when they have like really cute ones, there are some cute ones. I'm not a huge shaped mugs
Oh,
person.
yes. I know what you mean. No, I don't like ones that are like the shape of the like if they're it's like a character, like like Santa
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking. Like they had a
yeah,
bunch of Santa mugs where it's like the shape, like it comes, his head
yeah.
and
I
then
don't like
the head.
those.
Yeah, same.
The
I was
first of all,
talking about this
they're hard to clean.
100%.
And I feel like they're also hard to drink out of.
That too. And
Um,
honestly, like I tend to hold my mug for like I realize for people who are just listening, they won't understand what I'm doing, but I don't necessarily hold it by the handle. I put my
yeah,
fingers through and then
I do
like
that too. Or I
hold it
hold it like
like a
this.
ball, Or that. Yes. So I like a rounded mug. Like I like
Yeah,
something that fits in the hand
same.
nicely. I actually recently talked about this in a vlog too, a Neverland exclusive vlog. We actually had an entire conversation about this because I got a new mug, and it's like the perfect roundness. Truly, like truly, it's fabulous. And yeah, um, I have my Timmy's mug today, which I absolutely adore. It's like a little
So
donut
cute.
with a little donut hole, and the handle is the donut sprinkle.
I love that one. I think that one's so cute. I've seen you use it before and I love it.
The only problem is the sheer size of it. Like it's a little bit large.
It's a big mug.
It's massive. So like I filled it from the might I add, I used on my Keurig the travel mug button.
Right.
And it still only filled like a 3/4 of
Is
this
it
mug.
is it heavy?
It's so heavy.
It's so heavy, yeah.
She's got weight to it.
The next mugs that I want to like actually order, Emily Rath made Jacksonville Rays mugs and
Ooh,
there's one for each book.
you need that. You absolutely require
And I
that.
don't know what size they come in because there's 2 sizes, but only 1 price. But I'm
Mhm.
like, even if it comes in an 11-ounce size, I'll use it for bookmarks, but, like,
Yeah,
I have to own them.
absolutely. You really, really do.
Like, I am the fan club. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Honestly, I love the Tim Hortons mugs just for the look of them, but
Me
this is
too.
the first one I've actually owned, and it is a little bit too heavy.
Yeah.
Truly, it's a little bit too heavy, and you can't put it in the dishwasher. And immediately that made me like it less. Honestly, not like it's
Yeah.
hard to wash it. And I do hand wash dishes every single day just because, like, you always have some dishes that
You
can't
always
boil,
have something, yeah.
like pots and, stuff. But so it's not like really a hardship, but like something about that really I just don't want that in my life, you
I
know?
will I will say I specifically buy, like, my water bottles and stuff, like my hydro jugs, I bought because they're dishwasher safe, like, I purposely buy things that are dishwasher safe because I'm like, "What if I don't feel like" especially with something like a hydro jug that has, like, the lid, like and these are easy to clean. Like,
Yes.
truly, literally to clean, like, the straw piece, like, you
Mhm.
just pop the straw out of the bottom, and then you just use a straw cleaner.
Yep.
But I'm just like, if I don't wanna do all that. I'll just throw it in the dishwasher, and it'll be clean and it'll get cleaned all the way through in the dishwasher.
And like sanitized, you know?
Right.
Yes,
Exactly.
I feel you. And I think here's the thing. Here's the real truth. And we are both moms. We are both single moms. So
Yeah.
like we are busy people. Okay? The
Right.
amount of things that you and I have to do on a daily basis is a lot of things. So like if we can have one less thing, even if it's just like not hand washing a cup,
Right.
I will take it. Do
And
you
I feel
understand?
yeah,
Like,
and
it's just like, I don't have enough spoons for it. There, look, right back to
exactly.
the thing.
Right. Well, and I feel like even, like, me, like, okay, so I mean, we both only have 1 child,
Mhm,
right? But, both of our children are neurodivergent,
mhm.
special needs, like, whatever however you wanna put it.
Whatever,
I prefer to just
neurospicy, whatever you
yeah,
wanna call it. Yep.
I prefer to just say my child is neurodivergent, neurospicy, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, because I don't necessarily think that her needs I don't me personally, and this is no, like, hate to anyone who does label their child as a special needs child. I just don't feel that my child's needs are necessarily special. I just think that they are different
Mhm.
needs. Um, but I still feel that she's capable of doing things,
Yes.
you know what I mean? I feel like
Oh, for
sometimes,
sure.
like, the connotation behind, like, a special needs person in general is, like, that they're not capable of doing things, and I'm like, "That's not true," but
Yeah.
okay. Um, I think sometimes I even I'm like, I got to take a nap today. I got to sit down today. I don't really do that much." But then, like, when you put it on paper, it's so much stuff.
It's so much. And it's not even the amount of things, 'cause although the amount of things, like, if you put every little tiny task that I do in the course of a day on a piece of paper, they all add up to, like, a sheer large number of things,
Yeah,
let
and
alone big things, but, like,
and
just the tiny things.
right.
But, like, the mental
It's the
capacity to
mental
think
load.
about it's the mental load. It
And
really is. That is the heaviest part of anything, is
and
that
that's the part that nobody sees, right? So they're like, "Oh, well, you didn't even really do that much." And I'm like, but, like, you don't understand the mental load of it.
it's
Like,
the
for you
mental
to say that to me means that you do not understand the sheer mental load of, like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this needs to get done, this needs to get done, this needs to get done. Oh, I didn't do this today, so it's gotta get moved to this day." On top of the spoons to do the things. Like, I actually have a space in my planner that is called um, high spoon tasks.
Yes.
And these are things, I mean, to some people, laundry is not a high spoon task. To me, it is.
It
So it's
depends. I
fine.
think every person, it depends.
If I have to put the laundry away, it's a high spoon task,
See, now for me, and this is what I mean, is it's different for every person. See, I consider laundry a low spoon task because I can watch TV while I do it.
which is fair.
So because I'm just like mindlessly folding while I watch the television set, it doesn't make me as exhausted. But that's because it's different though, because your spoons are more featured with chronic pain. So you have to
Yeah.
physically do stuff with the laundry, where
Well,
my spoons are anxiety. So if I can
right.
do my mindless task, I'm not using as many spoons.
And also with mine, like, yeah, because chronic pain weighs into what a high spoon task would be for me.
Absolutely.
If I have to move a lot,
Mhm.
like, editing for me, honestly, I don't like editing, but it's not a high spoon task.
I'm the opposite.
Editing is a very low spoon task for me because I can, 1, do it at my own pace, and
Mhm,
2, I'm sitting in one spot. So chronic pain-wise, it doesn't hurt me to
mhm,
do it. And honestly, I'm not like a huge editor anyway. Like there's not a lot. I know that a lot of people find it to be a higher spoon task because of the sheer amount of cutting out of things that they have to do. I don't do that.
right.
I'll stop the clip and start it over and then delete the clip where I messed up. Like I'm not really one to take like 4 or 5 takes in the
Mhm,
same clip where I have to, so for me it's a much lower spoon task because I'm sitting and like making graphics. I mean, I like making graphics fine, but again, a low spoon task, which for like Brittany, who
it
can't,
is not.
she doesn't visualize things. So she has to put things on the canvas first. I have a much more visual brain than that.
Mhm,
So I can look at pieces and be like, okay, these pieces will work together. And so I can usually crank out like my thumbnails. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Here's a little BTS for you. My thumbnails are made as the video is uploading to YouTube.
see, I would love to be this. I can't because I can't again, like you said, I cannot visualize, which is actually funny because I just answered the comments yesterday from Not Enough Spoons, and we were talking about redecorating last week. And in the same way that I cannot visualize a thumbnail before I make it, like I have to put something there, see if it looks good, move it around. Like I cannot see it in my head. I can't with redecorating either, which did mean that I had to physically move that desk around my room
Yeah,
5 times
so it's a high spoon task.
because I can't think of, well, it would look like this over there. The only way for me to know how that desk looks over there is to physically put the desk over there and visualize it with my eyes.
Yeah, and so, like, for me, it's the opposite. So I can look at something, like, I can look at something on, say, Amazon, or, like, when I went to go look at bookshelves, I went to Walmart, looked at the bookshelf, came home, and was like, "Okay, that bookshelf will work right there."
Yeah,
But
no,
you
I can't
can't
do
do
that.
that, like, you'd have to buy the bookshelf and then figure out where it fits, and
Yes.
so because of that, for me, the building of the bookshelf is the high spoon task. So I had to ask my brothers, like, hey, when I'm able to buy this bookshelf, I haven't bought it yet, but when I'm able to buy this bookshelf, can you build it for me? Because I know that unless I'm having an okay day on the pain scale, that bookshelf will sit
In the box. Yeah.
for however long until I have, and some people are like, "Oh, well you have it's the momentum of the motive, like you can't wait till you're motivated to do something." I'm motivated to do something all the time.
No, you don't have the physical
I don't have the physical capacity to
yes.
always do the thing. So like
Exactly.
at the time that we're filming this, right? This is a
Mhm.
Tuesday. I canceled my sprints yesterday because I usually do sprints on Mondays because I went to the doctor. I got some shots done, which is fine. Like hepatitis A and B shot, like those are shots that you need.
Yep.
Um and I haven't had them since I was pregnant with Ari because you, at least in the States, those are shots that you get when you're pregnant.
Mhm.
You're supposed to get them more often than that, but not all like state insurances will cover them, and they're kind of expensive. So I hadn't had them, so my doctor was like, "Well, you need them, so we're gonna give them to you, whatever." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I don't know if it was the chronic pain or if it was the shots or if it was both. But I got home and I sat down and I was like, I am in so much pain that being on camera is not going to work
Mhm.
because sometimes I can mask the pain. Yesterday was not one of those
It was
days.
not one of those days.
And I was like, if I push myself to be on sprints for 8 hours,
Yep.
I'm not going to recover the way that I
Right.
should. So I ended up just like sleeping a lot while Ari was at school. And then when she got home, like I did some like admin stuff, like I read and I did some other stuff and like took care of Ari, of course. But like I have to kind of decide where my spoons go. And yesterday, all of my spoons went into taking care of Ari. Like
Which
those
is
were all the
your first
spoons
priority. So,
that I
like,
had.
that if you have less spoons, obviously Ari needs to get the ones that are of
And
availability, right?
the doctor, regardless of what's happening, is a high spoon task for me. It usually takes about half my spoons to go to the doctor
Honestly, same.
because because the medical anxiety, like, and I knew why I was going to the doctor yesterday. It was a
It doesn't
nurse
matter.
visit. It
It
was a
doesn't
nurse
matter.
visit. I knew a nurse visit, like, you're not getting any kind of womanly exam. It's nothing like
Yeah.
super crazy. It's literally usually just shots. And I have
Mhm.
to go back in 3 months for another round. And I knew exactly what was on the docket for the nurse visit, but I was still like, "Oh my god, what if they have decided to add something? Or what if they decide, or what if they're like, "Oh, we don't have this shot today. You'll have to come back another day." And so, like, it's a constant, like, anxiety spiral when I
Yep.
have to go to the doctor,
Mhm.
regardless of why I'm going. Because, like, and the thing is, like, one of my friends, actually the friend that I bought stickers and bookmarks for, she is a receptionist at our hospital. So of course I walked in yesterday and she wasn't the one that checked me in, but she saw me and she was like, "Are you sick?" I just saw her the day before.
Right.
So she knew that I wasn't sick the day before because we had met up so I could give her the stuff I had for her.
Mhm.
And I said, "Oh no," I said, "it's just, the chronic pain nurse." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And like she showed me her new decorated Kindle and it was a great time.
Yeah.
But it's like that, where I'm also like, whenever I go out into the public, because I live in such a small town, I always see people that I know. And they always, and that's like also talking to people.
You know, based off even the conversation we had last week on the show, I need to know that social situations are coming at me. I do not do well stumbling into a
Into it.
social
Right.
situation. That does not work well for me. It's better on the medication I'm on. I'm better. It also would depend on the day too. Again, whether it would be an okay day to stumble into a social situation or not would depend. But I'm the same way where I'm like, I can't, I do not have like if you see, luckily I live in a city, so it's very rare that like I would run into someone that I know out in public. And if I don't feel, I hope this is a relatable conversation that we're about to have. If I don't feel up to having that social situation, if I clock them early enough, I can like make sure they don't see me.
And
If I'm, you know,
here's the thing.
but sometimes not
Think
possible.
I think that if you live in a city, or you are a person like me who's lived in both, I understand what you're saying. Because honestly, living in the city, even when I lived in like Florida, where I did know quite a few people, and honestly, in the area that I lived in Florida, there were like suburbs to cities, right? So
Yeah,
there was like cities and then almost like towns within the city. So
yeah.
like when I lived in Ormond, like Ormond Beach, Florida, that was almost like a town inside of the county of Volusia County. So like, but Daytona Beach was like the city, right?
Right,
Like that was, to me, it had a much more city feel. So if
mhm,
I'm in Daytona Beach, I knew that I could avoid people.
right.
In
You can, like,
Ormond, it was a little bit harder, or in Palm Coast, it was a little bit harder to avoid people because it has much more of like a town feeling.
mhm.
But when I lived in Indiana, I mean, I knew people in Indiana, but like Indianapolis was such a large city, like I
You don't
wasn't
run
running
into
into
people
people
every day. You just
ever.
don't. Like, it's
Like
not yeah.
unless I purposely was trying to find someone, like I wasn't running into people.
No, it's too large. Although this did happen to me actually the other day, like 2 weeks ago. So if people know me, will know that I grocery shop on Sunday morning at the crack of dawn. Like, I am there when the grocery store opens because I love the quiet. I love how empty it is. There is about 3 people who also shop every Sunday at the same time, and I know them, and we do the nice, like, polite, like, wave at each other. We do
Wave
the
and
head
keep
nod,
going.
like that. We're the regulars, but it's very socially easy. It's very quiet. The same cashier works every Sunday morning. She knows exactly how I like my groceries packed. And like it's actually like it's almost like a luxury me time, if that makes
Right.
any sense. And I know it's grocery shopping, but just like because it's quiet, because it's before it gets busy, it's really early morning, I could like center myself. I can just like shop slowly through the store, take my time. Like, I know that sounds silly, but I love it. A couple weeks ago, I was actually having a very bad anxiety morning, to be honest. So, but I kept my schedule because sometimes keeping to my same schedule will help me sort out my anxiety, if
Right.
that makes sense. Plus, that's not really a high social thing because there's nobody there. And it is my quiet time. So even though I was feeling very, very anxious, I was like, you know what? It might actually help for me to get out of the house, do my quiet center time, and also stick to my routine. Wouldn't it be the one day that I run into someone I know at the grocery store? And it was someone, Neva, it was someone I haven't talked to, and I would say pre-COVID.
Oh, I run into people that I haven't talked to since high school all the time.
So
And they'd be
I
like, "Hey
remember,
girl, how are you?" And I'm like, "Oh,
and it was very nice to catch up with them. I don't want to say that it wasn't, because it was a nice moment and we just chatted for a couple minutes and moved on. But it was a bad day for that run-in to happen.
right,
But there was
right,
no, it happened and it was great and it was good to see them. And I probably will reach out on a better day because I probably wasn't at my best at the moment. I was probably just like a shell of the person
right."
because it was not a good day. But, I did the, "Oh my gosh, haven't seen you in forever," hugs, "How are the kids doing?" Because when
That's
that's
what
an
you do.
it's an easy conversation to revert to too. If you're like feeling a little socially anxious, just talk about your kids.
Right.
Like it's any parent can talk about their child, just go with it. But it's so funny that literally just happened to me the other day.
Well, and it's not helping, like, my spoons. This time change,
I know. It's kicking our behinds,
I
honestly.
am so tired. Like, I'm so tired. And the thing is, like, last week I was tired too,
Mhm.
but I think because the kids were home for spring break,
You didn't notice. You were busy.
I had to push myself through it.
Yep.
And I think now my body is like, hey, dude, you ignored chronic pain, but you also ignored the fact that you're tired. So now you have no motivation to do anything. And it's so crazy. Like, and I have to keep, like, I have to just center myself in like the hustle Stanley mantra,
Mhm.
which I've said before, but I'll say it again, which is that our schedules are tools, not chains.
I
So, like,
love this thing.
I have to allow my schedule to work for me and not me work for my schedule. And this is a little sneak peek, whatever, but I'm actually trying to find some way of making money from my house as opposed to, like, I need a job, okay?
Yeah.
Um, and right now YouTube is not really actually like bringing in any money. Which is fine. Like, I'm not mad about it. So I don't want anyone to be like,
No,
ew, you're so
it just is
ungrateful.
what it is. Yeah.
But this is what it is. And so I've been looking into some different things that I can do from home that like are legitimate jobs. I'm not speaking of like a multi-level marketing
Yeah.
scheme, okay? Um because I know that with my chronic pain, going back to like Taco Bell fast food type
That
thing,
was hard on your body.
it's
Yeah.
not gonna work for me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my chronic pain and my mental health are very much tied together.
They're
So
linked.
I can't ignore one and hope that the other is gonna be fine. They
No.
will both suffer.
Yes, they will.
Um, and like the higher anxiety I am, the worse my chronic pain is, and like vice versa, because then like when my chronic pain is really bad, then I'm anxious about, oh my God, I can't do XYZ. Like it's like it's a cycle. It's
Well,
terrible.
and stress/anxiety really does have a lot of physical symptoms.
It does.
Before I got onto my new medication, you would not believe the amount of, like, physical symptoms I had that I thought were something completely different. Like, I was like, "Oh, I'm having pain because of maybe this or this or that." And then I got my anxiety somewhat it will never be fully under control because mental health
Right.
doesn't just go away. But, this is the best it's ever been. And I'm like, "Oh, all that physical pain was actually, like, tied to my mental health." Like, that is crazy. Like, it's so cyclical, right? Because if you're having a high pain day, you're worried about that, so therefore it causes anxiety, and then the anxiety causes pain, and it's just a big circle.
And unfortunately, like, I have to, with the medication that I take for the chronic pain, I kind of have to choose between taking medication for my chronic pain or taking mental health medication.
Right.
And
'Cause
they don't,
can't, like,
and sometimes some of them will coincide where like a chronic pain medication can also relieve like anxiety or whatever, right? And obviously, if I'm taking chronic pain medication, that keeps it doesn't take it away. I always sit at like a 4 on the pain scale. That's
yeah,
like my normal, right? Um, but obviously, like if I'm taking the medication to help relieve the pain, that keeps my anxiety more mild.
yeah.
My anxiety is never gone.
Same. Like there's no
So
amount of medicated that I could be to not be anxious at some
at
level.
l
Like
right,
there's just there's no level of that.
but
That's
I
not a
can't
realistic amount.
with the chronic pain medication I can't take SSRIs.
Mm,
But I could take an SSRI and not take the chronic pain medication, but then I have, like, debilitating migraines 4 to 5 days a week, and right now, they're averaging more like 2 days a week where I have actual migraines. I always have a headache, but I don't always have a migraine, and there is a difference.
oh, there is a difference.
Um, because some people have said to me like, "Oh, well, if you always have a headache, then you have a migraine." And I'm like, "No. Like a migraine is gonna make it so I'm not leaving the house. I'm like sitting in a dark room. My head always hurts a little bit.
But
There's
you can
always like a
function
dull
through it,
throb.
which is
But
where the
I can like get through my day
yeah.
with a headache. I can't get through my day with a
No.
migraine. Like I'm seeing auras and crap with a migraine. Um, but I have just found that since this time change, I am and I already have chronic fatigue. So like the chronic fatigue on top of like being like physically tired is a whole other thing. I was sitting here yesterday, I think, yeah, yesterday, because I had taken the day off, like not taking the day off, because I was still
No, you
doing
just didn't do sprints.
things. And I was listening to my Buddy Read audiobook that I'm doing with Kelsey and Rainey, which I'm gonna finish today. I actually listened books 2 and 3 in this series.
I'm so
Top
glad you're
tier.
having fun.
I did not really enjoy book 1
No,
very
I know.
much, but we were talking about it and Rainey was like, book 2 is definitely better than book 1, and I was like, "Yeah." Like, I'm glad that I continued with the series, but, like, book 1, I could have skipped it, to be honest. Um, but I was playing my Switch because I have this little setup. I have, like, a controller and all that, so I just play tabletop. Um, and I was falling asleep playing my Switch, and, like, the game that I play is I've been playing Wildflowers on my Switch. So, that's a pretty, like, interactive game. Like, I'm running through town, I'm, like, doing tasks, like,
Yes,
it's not it's really I mean, it is a mindless game, I guess,
it's
but
a
you
big
have to pay
game.
attention to the storyline.
Mhm.
So, I was like, "What is happening?" So, I was like, "Okay, well, maybe I'll switch to, like, good pizza, great pizza, great coffee, good coffee." So I switched to that and I was falling asleep playing those. And those are those are way more interactive tasks because you're like making orders, you have to be paying attention, you have like a time frame, you know?
Yep,
Um, and I was like, okay, you're just gonna have to lay down and like take a
yeah.
nap. So I just like closed my eyes and like listened to my audiobook while I kind of like rested. I didn't really sleep, but I did rest,
Mhm.
because I was just like, we just have to listen to our bodies, I guess. Like I'm not a huge napper, I'll be honest. I tend to just adjust my sleep schedule. So like I usually get up at like 10 a.m., go to bed between midnight and 2 a.m.
Mhm.
Um, because that's what
That's
works
what works.
best. And I do get up in the mornings to help Ari. I've gotten this question before. If I get up in the mornings for Ari to get ready for school, I do. But
But then you
basically what
go back to bed.
happens yeah, basically what happens, she's a very independent child. So she sets out her clothes at night before she goes to bed. And so I get her up at 6:45. She eats breakfast. She prefers to eat breakfast at home. So she packs her lunch if she wants to. And then she gets dressed. She brushes her hair, and then I style her hair. So she brushes her hair in the morning, and then I just rebrush it, make sure it's, combed.
Uh-huh.
And then we put it up in a ponytail or a bun or pigtails or whatever she wants that day. And then she goes to the bus. So I watch her walk to the bus, but she prefers to walk on her own. So like I stand at the corner and just like watch her like make it to the bus stop. And then I go back inside and I go back to bed. So like there is about an hour where I'm like awake in the morning while she's getting ready for school and going to school. And then I lay back down until 10 o'clock. So
I think that's an important thing to mention too, because I've had not questions, but I feel like some people are like, when do you parent? And I'm like, well, here's the thing. I don't record that. So it's happening all throughout the day, many a time during the day. I'm a book channel, not a family vlogging channel. So you just
you
just
don't see that. The parenting part is what you don't see. That's why like I don't have a lot of B-roll. I actually was like a year in to YouTube before or BookTube before I realized that people film B-roll.
Yeah, I remember us having this conversation, but even when I have B-roll, it's like a minute from my entire 24-hour day. So like you're seeing a minute of an entire day. Like it's a big amount of time that obviously we're doing other things. So I think it's and honestly, yes, I might be reading during some of the parent, but I'm pausing. When I'm listening to an audiobook, the amount of times I have to pause an audiobook to parent is so often. It's so much. It's all the time. It's 17 times per chapter. Like it's all the time. It's constant. So yes, I'm making progress on my books, but not in necessarily the smooth transition that maybe even if I do like a TikTok where I'm like, this is me reading over the course of an hour. I pause that so many times.
An hour's worth of reading for me can take 4 hours.
So it takes
Like
so much
it's
longer
crazy.
to
And
think.
the thing is that like because Ari will come up and she'll start talking to me and I won't always see her. That's the thing.
Mhm.
She likes to stand behind me. This annoys me so much. Like, but I don't know how to tell her like, can you not stand behind me? So like,
So
but then I'll realize she's sitting there and I'll pause. I'll be like, what do you need, Ari? And that's the thing is like because I'm not a family channel. Now I do say like my intro to my video says like mom life. By this I mean that I talk about my child on the internet.
or like you might
But
show like you're cleaning or something
yeah,
like that. That's
or
very mom,
like
you know.
especially when I do like behind the scene style vlogs or like day in the life vlogs, which I'm gonna start doing more day in the life vlogs. I think mostly to keep myself accountable. Let's just be real. There is like things that I talk about that are mom life. So I will talk about things like, oh, I'm making this for dinner, or Ari has this activity, or whatever. But like, I am not a family channel,
No.
so you don't see the vlog like
The
there's
parenting part.
no vlog footage of me like parenting Ari. There's no
Getting
vlog
Ari ready for school. Like you're not pulling out the
right.
camera to get Ari ready for school. Exactly.
Right. Like I'm not like filming her getting on the bus. I'm not like doing any of that. Like even like her first day of school, like I did post a photo of her, which I think I archived it at this point because I
Mhm.
don't keep her photos up for very long.
Yeah.
But even that, like, I bought the most generic, like, picture frame first and last day of school thing I could find that didn't have, like, it literally just has, like, what she was looking the most forward to for the school year and her grade.
It has
I
no
don't,
identifying information
yeah,
on
I don't buy the ones that have, like, her teacher's name and her school name and all that stuff because, first of all, they wouldn't get filled out. And
it.
so it would just be blank. So I don't see a point in spending the same amount. And they're the same amount at Target. Like they're the
Mhm.
same, like they were all $8, no matter how detailed they were. And I was like, I'm not going to get a super detailed one that I'm not going to fill out because I'm not going to post on the internet like what her school name is, what her teacher's name is. Like,
But I
no.
don't think anybody, unless you're just taking it for yourself for like a picture album, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody should be because the internet is a scary place, friends.
And
It's a scary, scary place.
and
Like,
people
nobody
like
needs to know that about your kids.
and I
Like,
know people that do post those to like their thousands of followers, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and not all of them have like the school name, but they all will have like the teacher, the grade, what your favorite color is. And I've thought about buying the more detailed one and just not putting her teacher's name on it.
Mhm.
Just because she did say something to me this year about, I wish they just had more like my favorite color, my favorite food, or whatever. Like, that's okay. But it's also a thing of like parents that use safe words, which I do have a safe word for Ari. I'll not me. I use something else, but a lot
Make
of
sure
parents
it's
will
not one of the ones
use
that are on that.
right. A lot of parents will use like the kid's favorite color or the kid's favorite book or the kid's favorite food
Mhm.
as a safe word. So if you're putting that on the internet, you know, and
It's
I don't.
unfortunate.
We use something that would not be
It
like
wouldn't be something
nobody would
common
guess it.
knowledge-y. Yeah, exactly, which it shouldn't be. But, we have to think about that as parents because the world is it's a messed up place, let's be honest. Like, and I'm sure it always has been. I mean, I know it feels more so in recent memory, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like the world wasn't a horrible place years ago too, because there's always been horrible people in the world that are out to do horrible
right.
things.
But we were never meant to be this plugged in
That's the problem is
to
that
the
we
world.
know about everything, but it also makes us to remember that we do need to be hyper vigilant when it comes to our kids
Right.
because they can't protect themselves. They don't know.
Right.
They don't have a clue.
Right. And that's the thing, is it is a thing of like we're not meant to. I actually had this conversation with my brother the other day. Um I think maybe yesterday, because he brought up, he's like, have you ever heard about how like human beings aren't supposed to, like, the reason that we notice our flaws is because we weren't meant to be able to look at ourselves so critically. And I was like, yeah, that's an actual like science-based thing. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I never believed it until recently, because like something had come up. um he has some like body dysmorphia stuff going on, and so, which I feel like most people probably do to some
In
degree,
some
but his
way.
is a little
Yeah.
bit more. And I was like, well, I was like, as human beings, like we were meant only really to be able to see our reflection in some high quality metals and in water very briefly.
Which is like very distorted. Like
Yeah,
it's
like
not like a perfect.
we weren't meant to see ourselves, like look at ourselves in mirrors or in cameras or like whatever.
Mhm.
And like, yes, we were meant to like take photos of ourselves, but not to the extent that we do.
No.
It was meant to be like a family portrait.
Yes.
But and then he was like, well, there's like a camera lens that is supposed to like take a picture of you in the way that everyone else sees you, which is like how I see myself is different than how you see me, right? And I said, yeah. And he's like, and people are like, he's like, people are crashing out over it. And I was like, yeah, because we look different to every single person than we do to ourselves.
Oh, this is something that I've talked about, especially coming to being on the internet, because
Yeah.
I will edit my videos and be so critical of, oh, I have a flyaway piece of hair in this clip or whatever. Like it's the tiniest, nobody saw
Nobody
it.
notices it.
Nobody noticed it. The only reason I noticed it is because while I'm editing, I watch the same clip 13 times.
Right.
I probably didn't even notice it the first three.
I will always notice zits on my face.
Yes.
And I'm like, no one else. And then when I bring it up to somebody, like I'll ask like you or Rainy, somebody I know has watched my video, and I'll be like, hey, did you notice that
No.
big ass zit on my face? And you're like, no,
No.
what are you talking about? But
No.
I'm like, oh my God, this zit on my face.
Yes.
Or I'll point it out in the video.
I have
Like,
stopped doing that,
like
especially in
I
editing.
have
Like, if I
stopped.
stumble over my word in like sometimes like the other day I said instead of video, I said, "Oh, at the end of the video," was what I meant to say, but I said at the end of the book. And normally I would put like
Put a
text
caption.
over it of like, "Oh, I meant to say this." You all know what I meant to say.
Yeah, I've stopped doing that. And I caught myself doing it a couple months ago, where it was like, I listen, stress has physical reactions, okay? And like alluded to this in my Instagram like friends only thing. I'm not ready to like share about it on the internet, but we're going through some things behind the scenes, and one of the ways that my body manifests physical stress is in like my face will break out.
Yeah.
And a couple of months ago, I noticed that it was like every vlog or every other vlog, I was like, please ignore the giant zit on my face. I stopped doing that because I was like, no one notices this except
They
you.
notice when you point it out, like you're drawing attention.
Everyone is staring at it now because you said something.
I do this all, like, I'm like, oh, I have a hair sticking up or whatever. Like, and I am so much more critical of myself than anybody. And actually, here's the thing: when I watch people's YouTube, a lot of the times I'm just listening because I'm cleaning. My phone is playing it. I just have it in my ear. I'm not really looking unless you say, oh, look at this, like, because you're showing me something or whatever. Then I'll like run over to look and
Glance at it. Yeah.
right, exactly.
But I'm doing other things behind the scenes. Like I'm updating my reading spreadsheet, or I'm doing my planner for the week. Like I'm doing other things when I'm listening to BookTube.
Yeah, but even if people are watching, because I know some people who, and sometimes I do sit and watch, but it's not all the time. A lot of times I'm just listening to the to the content. But like at the same time, I think people do appreciate the realness of things. I think we're getting past this point of everything needing to be this picture perfect, airbrushed, because we all know that's fake. Like we all know that no matter when you see that somewhere, it's not real. And eventually we have, I think as a society, most of us, not every, I can't, obviously everybody's different, but I think in general, we have decided that like that is exhausting to always have in your face when you know that there is absolutely no way to achieve that. It's not an achievable thing because it's not real to begin with. And even those who have that realness, it's because they spend unearthly sums of money to
achieve it.
To achieve that and to maintain that. And it is not realistic for the average human to do. And especially mom life. Like I'm like, I literally like most of the time my hair, like if I'm filming, I'll usually maybe run a straightener through it, usually. Or not. Sometimes I don't. But a messy bun is my friend. Like truly.
And here's the thing is like I do think that I did myself a service by, and I don't want this to come off wrong because I don't hate on anybody that does like a full face of makeup and like gets themselves ready to film.
Some people do that for self-care because they like.
Some people do it because it makes them feel camera ready. So my friends that watch this show on Mondays, you know who you are. I'm not gonna like call you out. That do a full face of makeup and that's how you enjoy being camera ready. I love it for you. And honestly, I love seeing your made up face because I think that the friends that I have that do that and they do makeup beautifully. Okay. I do not.
No, I'm
so when I started doing YouTube, I remember that people were like, oh, people in my life, like in my actual life, were like, oh, you're not going to put makeup on, you're not going to like do your hair. And I'm like, no. I said, because here's the thing. I said, once I start doing that, if I stop doing it, then people are going to question things. It's going to be, are you okay? Are you depressed? Whatever. But if I don't start by doing it and then I decide to do it, because there have been a lot of my, not right now because my head's shaved, but a lot of my YouTube journey, I had my hair in braids, but there was a big portion of my YouTube journey where I did not. And so the times that I would have my hair done, people would say, oh, your hair looks so nice or whatever. But it wasn't a thing of like, they expected me to be like this put together like person. I have always filmed with a fresh face, like no makeup on. I don't wear makeup on a regular basis anyways. I don't have the time.
Very rarely.
I don't have the time, first of all. Second of all, I'm not good at makeup. That
That's
is
the thing, I don't know what to do. It's not so much
and
that I wouldn't want to, but also don't wanna spend the time, but,
I'll
like,
be
I
real,
truly don't know.
I cannot see well without my glasses on. So trying to do a full face of makeup on myself is
Mhm.
very difficult. So the few times that people have seen me in pictures specifically, because I don't think I've actually ever done any videos with makeup on, but where I've had like pictures of makeup, especially the one I can think of is my first ever profile picture. Um, which actually it might still be
I know exactly
my profile picture.
which picture
But
it was.
my first ever, I
I know
had
exactly
I
which
had
one.
red and green
Mhm.
braids, and it was specifically for red, green, and black braids. It was specifically for Black History Month. I did it a few years ago, I think 2022 for Black History Month. My friend did my hair and she also did my makeup. She said, I really would love to do your makeup and take pictures of you. Okay, cool. So I had this full face of makeup. I'm gonna be real, outside of the pictures that she took, like in actual life, the makeup was so heavy. Like it was very heavy. Like it was very much like theater style makeup. Like it was very
Right.
much put on for pictures. I did wear it the full day because like it took her so long to do it that like I was like I'm not just going to wash it off. But it was very like I have pictures of me, like just me taking a picture on my phone, completely different. Okay. But like when I did that, like that was fun, but she did my makeup. I can't see my face well enough without my glasses on
Yep.
to do a full beat of makeup without my face, without being like so close to the mirror. I'm basically breathing on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not conducive
No.
to me doing makeup. And so I feel like I did myself, personally myself, a service by showing up in the way that I present in the world.
Absolutely. And I think honestly, like, especially like when you start, you don't realize, or at least we didn't, because it depends on your level of how you do the internet. Like there's
Right,
levels, how much you
of
do,
course.
don't do, and everybody's at a different level. But for us, we vlog almost every single day. I pick up a camera at some point every single
Every
day
single day.
to update on a book or to update, a Patreon behind the scenes vlog about, this is what I'm working on today, or whatever video
Yeah.
I'm working on. And sometimes I'm picking it up for B-roll, but half the time I'm not actually, like, my face isn't in the B-roll, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is. But like when you are picking up a camera every single day, eventually you just have to witness me in the way that I am in the natural world because
I love y'all so much, but I am not putting on a full face of makeup
just to
to
talk to the
film
camera
a
for
5-minute
7 minutes.
vlog clip.
Correct. And then dip. Like I don't have that.
No.
You have to take me as I am. Now again, I will like brush my teeth, comb my hair first. Like I
Right.
won't just like I'm not just gonna roll out of bed and be like, hey everybody, like whatever. I will like, do typical like, things,
Hygiene, but like
kinds of things. But like you have to take me as I am in my everyday life. And if
yes.
that's not your vibe, I don't know what then we can't vibe
Yeah.
because this is just me in my everyday
If
life.
that's not your, and I've said this like even on my channel, like I've been like, listen, if your vibe is not like very like casual, like I am almost always more dressed up on the top than I am the bottom. Like the
This is
amount of
the most relatable
the
conversation.
amount of times, like right now, like I have like Brianna's Smut City University hoodie on that I just got yesterday. It's so comfortable. We
Yes,
love a bonfire merch.
we
But like
do.
I will always have like a hoodie or a t-shirt or something on that makes me look put together. I can guarantee you I either have like a boy short, like workout style shorts slash underwear on
Yeah.
because my I buy my hoodies so oversized that walking around in them, it just looks like I have shorts underneath, or
Yes.
I'm wearing pajama pants. Okay, I'm not. It's like a party. It's like
Business on the top, party on the bottom.
right. Like I am in jeans. Like yesterday when I filmed the
Could
beginning
not.
of a vlog, I was fully clothed because I was about to leave for the doctor.
Yes, because you were leaving the house.
But like if I'm just like casually running to Walmart, I'm going in my pajama pants.
truly, I am like, if again, unless I'm leaving the house. If I'm leaving the house, I probably have like real adult going
Clothes
outside
on. Yeah.
on. But like right now, and this is probably the most put together I ever am for filming, truly, because I actually have matching, like I have a, like, like a sweatsuit where it's like
Yeah.
the matching top and
Yeah.
matching bottom. Now, this is not the matching top that goes with these, but they are both navy, so it actually looks like they go together. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yeah.
So I have like the exact same color navy joggers on. So it looks like it looks intentional. But
Right.
that is the most that you're going to get on a filming day is me in, and that is the most put together. More often than not, I am in pajama shorts. That is my go-to one. Like a loose, like when you get a pajama set and it's like a cute little top with those like little flowy shorts. I live in those shorts. I will
Yeah.
buy any sets that have those shorts. I will run around in them for days.
Yeah.
Um,
And I wear
and that it's Canada and it's cold, but I turn my heat up. It's fine.
right. Yeah.
Um,
And I'm wearing like if I'm wearing female pajama bottoms, they're like these fuzzy. Right now, I'm wearing man pajama bottoms, but
Fair.
I actually tend to go to Walmart and I will buy the smallest size in the
Mhm.
men's department of
Yes.
pajama bottoms because I have long legs.
See, I do not.
So I
Not,
have
that is not a problem to which I have.
I have a very short torso,
Mhm.
like the space between like my shoulders and my waist is like very small. But my legs are 12 miles long. So
See,
I have
opposite.
trouble with finding female pajama pants that
Mhm.
fit in my waist but are also long enough. So a
Okay.
lot of times I have to size up in female pajama pants in order to get the length, but then they don't always fit in the waist very well. With men's pajama bottoms, I can buy a small or an extra small, and then they're still too long
That is
because
not
they're
a
made
problem.
for men. They're not made for women.
I have a question because I don't
Yeah,
think I know the answer to this. Because here's
sure.
the thing: when you see each other on a computer all the time, you don't know these types of things. How tall are you?
I'm 5'3.5".
Okay, you are taller than me then. Yeah,
So I am short. Like
but
I'm
you're all
shorter
legs.
than average, but I think that people think that I am tall because of how long my legs are. So
You're
the
all legs.
few times that people have seen me like stand up during a sprint,
Mhm.
I look tall because of my legs are so long. But I am not tall, friends. I am not a tall person. Um, and actually the way that and also it was very misleading when I was in my first relationship on BookTube, because Ariana's dad is short. Now, when I say her dad, those that are OGs that have been around for a while, they know exactly what I'm talking about. He's not her biological dad. Okay.
He's your dad in what matters. Yeah.
But her dad in every other form
Yeah.
of the word.
Mhm.
Her biological father is very tall. He was like he's 6'1". He's alive. I don't know why I talked about him like he's in the past tense, but he's like
Well,
six.
it's in your past sense.
Yeah,
That's
he's like 6'1", 6'2". So Ari theoretically could be tall. My parents, my mom was 5'2", and my biological dad is 6'4". So I
why.
like became somewhere like in the middle, but I'm the shortest of all 11 siblings. Like there's 11 of us in total if you add up all the siblings on both sides.
Yeah.
And I'm the shortest one. I'm the oldest, but I'm also the shortest one. Um so
Yeah.
I'm very small, like
Mhm.
in stature, but also just like small size wise. Like I'm a very skinny person, which is fine. I look kind of disproportionate because my top half is large,
Right.
and then I'm very skinny.
Mhm.
Hopefully people understand what I mean because
I
that's
do.
as far
I
as I'm
fully
going.
understand.
But I have had people that have said that they thought that I was like 5'8" or 5'10", and I'm like, that is so nice of you, but
But
no.
but no.
And it's
But no.
because they've seen me like stand up from the floor, and what they've seen is like these long legs, but you can't see my short torso. So
Right.
unless I stand next to something Like, I stand, like, in a tall mirror or something where you can see how short I am. You can't actually tell how short I am.
And it's
And it
hard
was
when you see people in pictures, because even I'll say that,
yeah,
like, even if you watch, like, TV shows sometimes, like, with
yeah,
cast members, like, everyone will seem like, oh, you're like, "Oh, they're all the same height," so you assume one of them's tall, and then, like, or someone will come in who's, like, really tall, and you're like, "Well, is that person really tall, or is everybody else just, like"
really short. Yeah,
you're, like, Googling the heights
because
of the
people
characters because 'cause you're like, what is happening here?"
because truthfully, watching Wicked was the most relatable thing I'd ever seen because everybody in that movie is very short.
They're teeny tiny people.
And I always knew with Cynthia Erivo, I didn't know she was short. I didn't know that. But I didn't really know a lot about her prior to Wicked. I'll be real honest. I knew she was on Broadway and stuff like that, but like I didn't know a lot about her. Ariana Grande, I always knew was a super short
She's
queen.
very
She's like
short.
5 foot. So like, and I knew that because it's one of the reasons that Ariana Grande consistently wears high
Cute
heels.
heels. Yeah.
And I actually prefer to on chronic pain well, on pain days where my pain is not too high, I actually do prefer to wear high heels.
Mhm.
I went through a lot of my life wearing either high heels or like wedges, like wedge
Love a good I
shoes.
remember a wedge.
Or like I would wear like platform
Yep.
like sneakers because I am short. And I think it was misleading when I was with Ariana's dad because he is only 5'7".
Right, so it made you look because then that's only a 4-inch height
So
difference.
it made
That's
me
not much.
so on the times where people would see us, like, dressed up for a date night or whatever, I looked taller than him because I was wearing 4-inch heels, and
Right.
he was always very, like, gracious about, like, "Oh, I don't care if you wear heels, I would prefer you
Love
wear
that.
what makes you comfortable," and
Mhm.
he's, like, a short king who is not, like, intimidated by
It's
tall people.
I can understand how people are intimidated if they are short, but I never really understood that because, like, does it matter? No.
Right. So he never was like, "Ew, don't wear heels." When I have been with short men that are like, "You can't be taller than me, so like don't wear heels," which is weird, but okay. I've also been with tall men that it's like a thing for them like for me to not wear heels because it makes me taller than I am, but I also don't care enough to do
Yeah.
that. I love a good heel. Like I have a pair of high-heeled boots that I wear a lot. I love them because they do add about 4 inches to my height, but the heel on them is so thick that
Right.
I can wear them even on a bad chronic pain days without it hurting my back or anything. And so I wear them a lot because of how chunky the heel is.
Mhm.
And I still get like that, I feel
Yeah.
like powerful or whatever, I guess. But I am very short. But I think people don't
It's
realize
hard
it,
to tell
but
on camera, and I just wanted to ask because I don't think we've ever discussed how
I don't
short
think we
we both
have.
are. So
I don't
I
because
just was
like
like, "Oh, hey, I'll ask while
because
we're talking."
actually Rainey said to me when we met in person a couple years ago, she was like, "You're much shorter than I thought."
'Cause I feel like Rainy's tall
No,
than Neva.
Rainey's about my height.
Oh, see, look, this is what I'm saying, is
And
it's
the
hard
thing
to
is
tell when
I'm not good at gauging how tall people are, so I just assume that everyone is short.
you assume everyone is your height.
Mhm.
Yes,
Until I
that's
meet them.
fair. See, I
Or
just assume
unless they
everyone
tell me something different. Like, if they tell me something different, then I'm like, "Oh, okay," and then I kinda have to, like, readjust
mhm.
in my brain, but I automatically assume that everyone is the same height as me.
No, see, I think because I am so short, because I am shorter than you. I am 5 foot just, and I mean
Yeah,
just. Actually, a funny story. When I was pregnant, you know how you go in when you first find out you're pregnant and they do like your weight and your height so they know everything so
yeah,
that just for so that they're ready for, what's
everything.
gonna go
Yeah.
down. And they were like, "How tall are you?" And I was like 5 foot. And she did the height thing on the weight thing. And she goes, "I mean, yeah, we can say 5."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not actually even quite 5 foot tall, but
Yeah.
I'm close enough. And so I just assume everyone is taller than me because there's very few people in the world that are my height or smaller. Like I am so low to the earth.
Well, I don't know how many people like follow Sosh from Sosh Reads.
Sosh is short.
I didn't know how short Sosh was until
The
they did
Australian
the
picture, they
Australian
were all friends.
friends all did like a meetup and she stood next to Ren. I didn't know Ren
Ren is
was so
really tall.
tall. And
Ren is really tall.
I was like I was like looking at their stories and I remember I just was staring because and not like out of like I was just amazed because I was like, I did not realize how tall Ren was, but also
Ren
how
is so
short
tall.
Sosh is.
Sosh is itty bitty.
And I was just like, what is happening? I was like, I don't know. Like my whole life was like adjusted.
Altered. You were altered by that moment.
Like it honestly, like that's a core memory for me. Like it completely changed everything in my mindset because if for some reason I just assumed they were the same height as me. And I'm pretty sure Sosh is shorter than me.
I think Sosh is like my height.
Which is fine. But I didn't realize that Ren was so tall.
Yeah, Ren's tall.
Because like with the whole BookNet Fest, right?
Yes.
I had told Margaret, I was like, I just need you to know that like I'm short in person. Because I've had more than one person on sprints that are like, oh, Neva, we thought you were tall. And I'm like,
no, I'm not. I don't know why you got that impression. Because
like literally in a car, like a normal sized car, there's no visor in a car that I can like put down and it blocks the sun.
Yes, that's relatable, truly. It's
and I wear glasses, y'all. Like I have to have prescription. I don't, but like I need to like invest in like prescription sunglasses or get the ones that like because now they make like the fashion ones that like size over your glasses. Because like literally, if the sun is in the wrong spot and I'm in a car, I'm blind.
It's over. We cannot see.
I cannot I would have to sit in a booster seat to like not be able to use a visor.
That's so relatable, honestly, to me as a person who drives. I'm like, this works.
This is not the vibe.
No things for me. But friends, I don't even know how that hour has passed.
I don't either.
That hour flew by, but it's over. We are done our episode of Not Enough Spoons for Mondays. Thank you so much for listening. We are so appreciative of all of you and you watching. Yesterday, I even messaged Neva and said, Neva, if you want a nice cozy hug, go read the comments over on Not Enough Spoons. Like seriously, it'll just make you so happy.
I have figured out that I have to set myself a reminder to go look because of the way that we have it set up. Like I don't have like a login or anything for it, which is fine. Which reminds me, I have a login I need to actually or a link I need to send to you, and I never sent it.
Okay, you can send it in later. That's fine.
But it's fine. But because I don't have like a login, like I'm just like commenting as myself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. But I have to remind myself to go look.
Yeah.
Because I love us so much, but I'm not going
lovely. Like they're so lovely.
I'm not gonna rewatch our episode. Like I'm not gonna listen to myself talk for an hour. So I could listen to you talk for an hour. I've done it, but I'm not going to listen to myself talk for an hour. So I like click it and then I like click the video and then I mute.
Yeah.
Or like I turn the volume down all the way on my phone so like we get the view. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Like I'm not gonna listen to myself and then I just like read the comments.
I have to watch it through because I'm the one who edits it. It's fine.
You know, you really are taking one for the team on that.
You're welcome, friends. But we are going to end here, not head out. I went to say head out and end here, and it became like a combo word.
A weird word, yeah.
Yep. We're going to head out and end here. We will see you next Monday. Have a good day, friends. Goodbye.